Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Emily. Today I'm going to begin coloring for the contest for the month of February for Deborah Muller's channel, a color palette contest where you could pick any picture, and the colors are a deep purple, kind of more of an eggplant purple, navy, turquoise, mint, and gold. This is the picture I chose. It is in Gothic Charm School, one of my favorite books. I've actually done a few of these on cardstock I've printed out. You might have seen, yeah, I covered them in the cardstock. I'm going to color this one right in the book. So I decided I'm going to make her African skin tone and then black skin tone. I'm going to do the navy for the background with gold paint and gold glitter crosses. I'm going to do the mint in her hair, the little turquoise. And then her dress is going to be the purples. Yeah, the purples and the turquoises and yada yada. So I have to kind of play it by ear. I haven't figured out exactly what color the accessories will be. So I'm going to start with the skin, the background, and some of the little details, and then figure out, or the hair, and kind of figure out what I want to do next. So I will show you what I'm going to do now for her skin. I have 4 chosen Copic markers that I use for skin tone, which can be purchased individually on Amazon. I will link all 4 colors below. I'm going to use E79 Cashew, RB34 Dark Pink, E77 Maroon, and E57 Light Walnut, in that order, left to right. So I'm going to start with her face. I'm going to start with the darkest, which is the Cashew E79. And I'm going to carefully go around this eye patch and frame her face with this darkest color. I'll save the forehead for last. I'm just going to do the lower part of the face for now. It's okay if it goes over because we are doing the neck the same color. This is just kind of my easy, sometimes I'll do a base color underneath. I did not choose that for today. I'm going to underline her eyes with this darkest color. Her eye patch, go around it a little, not too close. I don't want it to bleed over. I'm going to go around her nose. And I'm going to go up a little, make a little more of a nose for her there. Maybe do a little under her nose right there. And that's it for now. I'm going to grab my pink and put the blush on as an underlayer, which I always do first. And then we'll build the color back over it so it looks natural. And then we'll do another layer blush on the top. I've shown a tutorial doing this before on an actual African woman in a Deborah Victoria book. I'll link that below. I might have used the same colors, I don't remember. This is E77 Maroon. Now I'm going to start blending that maroon into that dark we already did, but then inward toward her face, toward the white parts. I'm going to kind of go over the other color, bring it in. We're going to leave some space for the lighter color. We have one more lighter color. All right. No perfect way to do this. Don't want to go entirely over the blush with this dark one. I want it to show. So then we'll go to the lighter one, the light walnut, the E57. And that's where we're going to bring over the blush and inward and kind of blend these colors together, including we're going to do her nose. And this is a process that takes a few layers and extra steps, and then I might use some pencils to tidy it up. We're going to go up her nose, over her eye, just to the top of the eye patch. A little clunky looking. Looks weird until we get the whole thing done. I'm going to grab my blush again. I'm going to put more pink on to really make that pink pop and kind of blend in. I'm going to bring that pink up along the eye all the way to the edge. I'm going to put a little pink under the nose. Okay, then I'm going to grab my maroon E77, which was my second color, not the darkest one again. I'm going to frame it a little more. A little bridge on her nose. I'm going to grab my light walnut again. I'm going to smooth this out, another nice layer back over that pink. I'm going to actually go over her lip, then we're going to put lipstick on that later. Make sure the lip is light, don't do a dark brown or you won't see the color over it. Okay, then I'm going to move on to her forehead. Need to fix a little bit here. You can tell once everything dries a little bit later where you need to come in with pencil and fix things up. I'm going to do one more pink. Get that pink really showing, blended in with the browns, almost to where it looks a little like an alcohol blender, like a little splotchy. Not to look like kind of a flushed skin tone. Notice how you don't see the pink so much over here because that's where we did the darkest. That's why we use the lighter browns as we go inward, or it wouldn't really show. I have tried this with putting all the darks on and then going over it with the pink, and the pink you do not see anything. You have to put the pink as the bottom layer. All right, let's go to the dark again, the cashew, and go up to her forehead. And once it's all done, her makeup's on, touch up with pencil, the eye's done, the accessories are done, it looks much better. And the neck right now looks kind of like it's sticking out because the neck doesn't match, but it will look good when it's done. I'm going to put a little of that pink just around her forehead, right under here. So it looks a little flushed up there. And then I'm going to take my medium, which is the maroon, pull this color downward. Try not to get it in her hair because we're doing a light hair color, but it's difficult with these brush nibs. Bring that down only halfway, save room for the lightest, the walnut. All right, that's sufficient. Let's grab our walnut, light walnut, and blend all these colors together and pull that color down. Obviously, Copics work the best on marker blending paper, my Nina paper, cardstock. But, you know, honestly, I use Copics for all my skin tones and even in all my coloring books. It's just the difference is it dries faster, so you need to do more layers. And it looks a little splotchy, but I kind of intentionally do it that way and prefer that because it looks natural. Like if you look at skin tone, right, it's like all different kind of gradients of colors in there, right? There's no specific solid flat color, so I think it makes it more realistic, and it kind of makes it look like a watercolor a little bit, watercolor painting. All right, that looks pretty good. See, it's a little lighter up there. You can take a color, let's see, I have here some chamois. It's a little bit yellowish. It's a different color, chamois. Sitting here, I'm gonna put a little bit of that up here. There's a little yellow tint up there. Maybe up here around the eye. Add a little bit of that. if it goes over a little, remember we're doing a dark background, so that'll all be covered up. I want to do a little chamois over here. Not too much. Don't really want to cover up that pink with anything else if you want it to show. Her nose looks a little too round for me, but it's all right. I'm going to do a little more pink once again. Now that that's dried, really get that pink to show. The other pink I like is the blush is more for Caucasian skin tone because it's a very pale pink. It would not show up on her face. Now you can go over with a pink Prismacolor, one of the hot pink ones, and kind of, you know, once this is dry and you're doing your details, color in a little more blush to make it look a little more natural. All right, I'll put a little more pink back up here. So I'm going to move on to her neck again. Take that dark color, the cashew color. It looks odd because you have her white hair and the eyes popping out, but it will all come together. I'm going to outline under her chin and do more like a dip, like a slight V before we go back up. Outline her dress. This is important for that kind of shadow effect. All right, let's take our pink. We just want to put a little of the pink for like a little redness or sun or just flushed look right there. Then let's take our maroon E77, which is our second color, and start bringing this all this color upward. Leave a little bit of space, a little white on there for that walnut. We want it a little bit lighter in the center. Okay. I've tried this method with lots of other alcohol markers that are skin shades. It just never quite, I mean, Copic always saves the day. Doesn't matter what paper. In the end, like, I feel like it makes the best skin tone if you're not using pencil, other than pencil. Copics do not streak, so they don't look streaky. In fact, you want them to look more dabbed and blotchy for that natural kind of, like a skin texture, if that makes sense. Pulling that color down. All right, so let's see how it's a little lighter there. And we're gonna put a little more pink again, right in that apex area. Maybe right under her neck. There. Coming along nicely. Does all come together in the end. I just don't feel like enough people do black skin tones, and I'd like to see more of those colored. Because honestly, it's easy, to me it's easier than the Caucasian skin tone because you can hide a lot more feature, you know, boo-boos or whatever. So, okay, next we need to do her little bit of arm, and that's it. So, let's do a little bit of arm. This is the dark cashew. It's funny because cashews are kind of white, right? I never understood why they call this cashew when it's clearly a dark brown, like a dark chocolate. I have no clue. I do not understand who names these. Let's do a little pink right along that line. Let's do our maroon. So basically just keep your markers lined up left to right in the order I told you, darkest to lightest, or the dark, then the pink, and the other two lights, and then always work left to right. Lay them back on your table in the same row, in the same order, so you always know what order you're on for this method. Starting outward, working in with the lightest areas in the center. So you can see this darker shadow and the lighter skin in the middle, so it looks a little more natural. or like the light's hitting it or something. Okay, lastly, we're doing this last one. I do not like doing fingers. Fingers are uphill. I don't know why. Let's outline this little area here first. A little pink right there. Just gotta work kind of fast. And so you can buy all 4 of these Copics for what, $24, about $6, $7 a piece. So let's say 24 to 30. These are the 4 I prefer for my African skin tones. I will link them below. They're available as individuals on Amazon. If you haven't had a lot of experience with, you know, Black or African American skin tones, then these would be the 4 markers I would recommend picking up. It will last you quite a long time, and just practice on a face that's a little smaller than this, and just kind of follow my videos. I have another tutorial as well using these same ones. I will link that below as well. I did on actually an African American princess, I think. And just practice until you have it down right, and then start working on bigger pictures. You need to have your blending and your routine of your, you know, your methodology, having done enough in place so you can work quicker when you're doing the bigger faces. You do have to work faster because you want to get that blending done before things dry too much. So you see I'm onto my maroon now, and I'm pulling the outside border color. I'm blending over it and then kind of pulling outward. Make sure you go over the previous color. You always go over the previous color and then blend outward, leaving some white areas for that lightest in the middle, which is the light walnut. I just realized I had not yet done a video on doing brown or any Hispanic type skin tone, so I need to do that as well. Those are totally different colors. I should do a video on how I do my green skin for like my monsters and aliens, my green or blue skin. That one's kind of fun. Done that several times in some of Deborah Muller's Halloween books. All right, you can take that pink, go over elbow again. It will fade. It looks like a pretty dark contrast right now, but it'll fade. And you know, if worse came to worse, you didn't like how it blended, or you don't like your layers, what I like about the dark skin tones, there's an instant fix. Let's say I didn't like this, whatever reason. Fix this here. What I would do, just going over with that lightest one again, I would take that darkest again, which is that cashew, and I would just go over the whole thing, go over all those layers with the dark, so that outside color is pulled all the way through, and that will kind of cover any imperfections. It will make it hard to do any makeup though, so keep that in mind. That's one thing you can practice on smaller faces. If you don't like anything, fix it with the darker one. Little trick of mine. Oh dear, we forgot the hand, because I don't like doing hands. I skipped it. Okay, so let's just outline the bottom part of her finger. The reason I don't like it is I feel like I always go off the page with the fingers. I'm going to kind of outline the knuckle, a little shadow around the bracelet. After this, we're going to move on to her hair, I think, and then we'll do the background. Get a little pink here, just around her knuckles. Let's do our maroon. Fingers can look splotchy, so they're a little trickier. go a little slower. Still gonna bring that color inward. All right, now let's get our white walnut and just blend everything in. Careful at the tips. Make sure you pull it, go over those darker colors and pull it down. That's why you want it to be a little bit damp enough so you can blend it nicely. There we go. You can pull some of this color up. Sometimes you might have to wait 10 minutes for it to dry. If you want to do it all over, like I could let all this dry, it'll fade a little, then take my lightest, the walnut again, and go over everything one final time. It kind of deepens and enriches the colors, gives it a little more natural effect. Like I might do here on our neck. It's probably been about that long. There you go. Do a little more on her forehead up here. Okay, around the eye patch. That's the light one. Around her nose. We're gonna, actually I might need a little darker one for that. We're gonna kind of, we're touching up here, go around the nose, kind of make it look a little more prominent there. All right, we're gonna take this middle dark. Don't come up here. No room for cats. Go back down. Don't even think about it. Cat's trying to sneak up here. She'll wreck things. Okay. And you can touch up as you so desire or see fit. I'm tempted to take my other yellow. Where's that chamois I had? That was E35. This is not one of my originals I had mentioned, but I'm going to actually go over everything with this. It kind of gives it that more of a gold, radiating gold and yellow effect. You can do that on the fingers. Because we're going to have gold in this picture, so a little undertone of gold in her skin I think will be nice. Or goldish yellow, I guess. All right. Just gotta be careful where you put it. Cat is really wants to get up here. Okay. All right. We'll see how everything looks. I might need to touch some things up once the colors fade. Actually, I'm going to take my light walnut and go over her whole cheek. Just, I see it needs a little more blending. Okay. But you see that did take away some of the pink. So I'm going to get my pink back, put some more pink on right there. The more layers you go over, the less you're going to see that pink. Just keep that in mind. You have to let things dry now and see where we need to touch up a little later. All right, so that's basically it for the skin tones. Takes a little while. So now I'm going to work on her hair. So torn about which her hair. So the hair, I'm going to use some of my Ohuhu markers. I think we're going to do let me double check my colors here. That's turquoise. This is okay. So I just need to make sure I do them in order. We're doing like a mint. That was one of the requirements, was kind of a mint color. So that one, I'm testing it on my test sheet here. All right, so I have a few Ohuhus from my 120 set, Green Shadow and Horizon Green. These are my favorite markers. And I have, from my round Ohuhu set, I have another color, and these are different tips. These are turquoise green light. So what I'm going to do, I also have this darker blue peacock green Ohuhu, and I'm going to give her a little part, that darkest one to her part right here, just so it really stands out, because we're going to go left. All right, so we're going to take the darkest of the 3 shades, the turquoise green light PB10, and I'm going to pull this color down. Just going to do one side at a time from that part. Blend in that dark color a little that we did at the base. The longer strands, you can go down a little longer. Not very much. I'm going to take my medium one, which was the Green Shadow G786. I'm going to pull, I'm going to blend right over that and try to go a little bit down with some of it. What I'm doing is trying to soften the contrast line when it goes from darker to lighter by making my marker work as like a blender. So see how I'm doing that with the chisel nib? That's kind of softening it, and I'm kind of just mixing it all in together, so it's going to look nice and natural. Then I'm going to do the minty one, which is the Horizon Green. I'm going to bring this down on its own all the way to the bow. Cover all that white, and then go over my other colors. So Ohuhus are dreamy magic for blending. Absolutely love my Ohuhus. Lots of, just make your hair look quite natural. Since we have a little black on that hair strand, I think I want to take my dark one that I did on the part, which I'm going to redo, and actually do that strand in that color to cover the brown. So her actual forehead strands will be dark blue. Okay, we can even do this. Any little pocket areas, we can put a little of that dark in right there. Okay, then we can take our medium green we did again and just soften what we just did up here a little, blend it together. Okay, so next we will do the same thing going the other direction. Since we already did the blue part, I guess I'll just tidy it up, go over, make it go a little bit over onto that side. Then we'll go down the other way, and I keep sliding my book around. Stay put. Okay. Yeah, my markers roll. Let's move them over here. So this one, I'm gonna bring it down this way. Bring that dark blue down. This is what I like to call pulling color. Pull it a little more on the longer strands than on the shorter strands. All right, let's get our medium, the Green Shadow. And first thing I'm going to try to do is pull some down while I'm softening that contrast where the darker color ended. Like I said, I'm pushing, tapping. I'm just kind of like softening that blunt transition point from the darker to the lighter color. There we go. Pull this down a little. Perfect. Now let's get our lightest color, the Horizon Green. I couldn't find a Puron mint green. That was a little difficult. One of the color requirements for the contest was a mint, and I think this is close enough, but by blending the colors, I'm achieving a minty look. I don't ever do hair just one shade because you want it to look kind of real. You have to give it multi different shades in the same color range. So I'm gonna just soften this up some more here and here. Another thing you can do is go back over it when it's dried after a couple minutes. Get more of a deeper, rich look. All right, so that is that. So the background I'm going to definitely be doing either in the navy or the dark purple. I just don't know which is going to look better underneath, around her hair, or underneath the crosses. I'm still leaning. I can't decide. Crosses are going to be gold paint. I still lean toward the navy. The gold's going to look nice over the navy, but then purple would look good too. If I do the purple background, her dress has to have more of the navy. I literally can't decide, so I guess that'll be in video number 2. All right, we are moving on down to these cool little hair thingies. I'm taking that super dark peacock green BG6. And I'm going to put a little where there's some little tight little areas of hair, little strands, like narrow little rows. See what I'm doing? Just to like give it a little bit of dimension. Wherever there's like a little bit of crack. Okay. That looks pretty good. Oh, trying to dump rain hard out there. All right, now let's get on to our turquoise green light. And that's, it's really dumping out there now. Yeah, if you guys can hear it. Rainstorm! My son's in California right now for USA Nationals. The cheerleading competitions in Anaheim Convention Center because he's a coach and a teacher. And he said it's dumping. He's been there 3 days. He tried to walk down to downtown Disney on his free time, and it's just dumping. He's like, people here are we're so lame. Like they keep, I don't know how to walk like 5 minutes over to downtown Disney, and people have like ponchos and umbrellas, and they're tripping and they're sliding in puddles and falling on their faces. And like, well, we live in Oregon, so it's like, it rains all the time. So like, people don't know what to do with themselves when it rains. It's really kind of funny. I was kind of laughing at that. All right, so let's go to our medium and see what I was doing. I was just I'm doing darker. I kind of blended a little darker, more on the outsides. I'm going to bring that lighter in, and then I'm going to kind of maybe stripe a little here. It's like people don't, I mean, I lived in Southern California my whole life till 2001, so like I understand, like right, California doesn't get much rain, so when it rains a lot, people don't know what to do with themselves. But he's like, oh, it's grand downtown Disney, and at 11 in the morning, there's no one here. So he's like walking into all the shops and the Star Wars Trading Post, and he went to the confectionery, bought me a box of Mickey chocolates. And he went to the World of Disney mega store and bought me a giant, it's a 2X size, but they do tend to shrink, purple Disney hoodie, women's hoodie sweatshirt. It was like a pretty purple, kind of like this, and it has the Mickey, Minnie, the castle, all the characters in like purple, blues, and silvers on the back and on the front. It's their 100th anniversary sweatshirt, so he bought me that. Sent me a picture of it, so that was nice. And he went to get the beignets. When he went for the competition last year, the line around the corner, the little French bakery there to get the beignets were like, it was like an hour long. And there was like no one there. He's like, bought like a family pack and he's eating them all himself. He's like, this is a heaven. He's funny. He's 24, so he can get away with eating a bazillion pastries and not have to worry about calories. Must be nice. Taking this dark one, putting a little on the ends there. Also gonna do this dark back over the little crevices where we did. There, see when you put the dark back over, you see how it gives it a little more, kind of highlighted it a little, make it look a little more some texture into it. And then take the next darkest one, the turquoise green light, and just go over that. Basically just kind of repeating the process until you get like shadows and some natural hair look. Oh, he bought me something else at the World of Disney store. What was it? Yeah, a giant tumbler, plastic glass, whatever, with a screw lid with a straw that comes in it, that has Minnie Mouse with her own little mini house with her cute little mini cats. It's all like in pinks and reds. Almost kind of Valentine theme, but it's a giant mini tumbler, which I want for my iced coffees because I recently bought a Nespresso. Oh my god, it's raining. Can you guys hear it? Sounds more like hail. I feel bad. My housemate went out walking a little while ago. It was not raining then. Oh, I can just see that now. Damn it. Got dumped rain on. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's do the other side. In video number 2, I'm probably just gonna do the background off camera so you can see, because that'll take forever, and I'll show you the color that I used. Then the second video, we're gonna work on her dress, and I think I'll do the gold crosses last so I don't put my hand in the paint. I'm doing this dark one, the turquoise, just to outline and show where the strands start. Okay, then PB10, that's the turquoise green light. And I do tend to, after, a few hours or the next day, I'll come in with my Prismacolors, go over some pencil, some of this, make it look real buttery smooth. So I'm really going to do the dark to light on the strands so it's lighter at the ends. So I have two different, I have all the hoo-hoo sets. I have like 6 of hoo-hoo sets, and some have the brush on one end and the chisel on the other, and this one has the chisel on the little nib end on the other, and I like them for different things. But sadly, the colors are different. So like if I don't really want to use the brush pen, which, but I like the color, I have no choice. Bella, don't try to get up here. You're not going to make it. Oh, my cat. Fine, come up. Come up, but don't put my hand. Come on. Come on. Okay, yes. Come on. Okay, come on. All right. Cat is up here now, under my chin. So I'm going to finish this. See, I could use the brush tip to finish this off because it's a little narrow. But I'm using the chisel, which is dangerous. But the background's going to be pretty dark, so if it goes over, I'm fine with that because it'll be covered up. Now, if you're going to do a lighter background, well, then you got to be more careful. I'm going to actually go to this little pointy end. This is my lightest color I'm using now, the green shadow. Oh, rain stopped. It's Oregon for you. Rain, sun, sun, rain, sun, rain, 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 sun, wind, all in one day. That's why we dress in layers, because changes by the hour. All right. So another thing I'm going to do with my Prismacolors when I come in here, I'm going to just a white Prismacolor to put some white areas in here. And I'm going to put some little sparkles and things in her hair. I got all kinds of fun plans for her hair. All the fun details I like to do at the end. So I'm going to finish the second part of her hair off camera, just doing what I did here, and I'm going to do the background. I haven't decided on the navy or the purple, but you will know when in part 2 of the video, because it will be done and you'll see. And then we'll work on the dress and move in from there, and then I'll have a third video where I do probably all the extra details like the crosses, the stickles, the makeup, the sparkles, the zing-zings, the bling-blings. All right, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to partake in this contest, though, I think the last day is already passed by the time you see this video, so never mind. It was the last day of February. I only have 2 days to get this done, but by the time I post the video, it'll be passed. So but it's fun to get challenged with color palettes. All right, see you in the next video.